In 2067, climate change has destroyed all the greenery, resulting in a complete loss of oxygen in the air. Humans now survive on synthetic oxygen, but all of it is produced by one corporation, which has a devious plan in the works. A narration of news reports over the years reveals that the Earth is rapidly being destroyed by climate change and overpopulation, resulting in floods, wildfires, a complete extinction of all plant life, and the collapse of entire ecosystems. Due to the death of all plant life, one by one countries start collapsing because of food and oxygen shortages. By 2067, the entire world has gone dark with the exception of one small city in Australia, where the last remaining humans now fight for survival. The air is unbreathable due to an almost complete lack of oxygen in it, and humans are surviving on synthetic oxygen filled in tanks. The synthetic oxygen is supplied by a company named Chronicle. A young man named Ethan White and his partner Jude, who are employees of Chronicle, are working in the nuclear reactor that powers the last human city. They are paid for their work in oxygen credits, which can be used to withdraw synthetic oxygen from ATMs, which are now called OTMs. However, humans are not adapting to synthetic oxygen very well, and it is causing a disease in people that has just been labeled the sickness. Ethan arrives home to his wife Xanthia and shows her that he bought her a new oxygen mask which is compatible with high-grade synthetic oxygen. As they play around romantically, Xanthia coughs up blood, and it is revealed that she has the sickness too. Ethan decides to work extra shifts to buy the best oxygen for her so that she can live a little longer. One day, Ethan and Jude are working when security guards from Chronicle arrive and tell them that their presence has been requested by Regina Jackson, the head of the Chronicle Research Division, which is dedicated to finding a solution to the sickness. Ethan and Jude arrive in Regina's office, and she tells them that there is no way to cure the sickness. In a few years, it will wipe out the human race. Ethan is confused as to why she is telling them this, but she reveals that their only chance of survival lies with Ethan. Regina brings Ethan and Jude into a room where scientists are working on a machine called the Chronicle. She reveals that Ethan's father Richard, who was a quantum physicist, started working on this machine many years ago when he was employed at Chronicle, before his mysterious death. She reveals that the machine is actually a way to travel through time. She further reveals that they have already managed to send radio waves into the future through it, and the waves came back with a message encoded in them, a message from 400 years in the future. She displays the message for them, and it says, "Send Ethan White." Ethan is shocked and doesn't understand why people from the future would ask for him, but Regina stresses that the fact that this message is from the future proves that humans found a cure for the sickness. She believes that the people in the future want to send the cure back to them so that they can save more people. She admits that she doesn't know why the future humans want Ethan, but insists that he go and find out. Ethan senses that there is a catch in all this, and Regina confesses that while they know how to send Ethan to the future, they don't know how to bring him back. He'll have to find the future people for that. Ethan isn't very convinced, but Regina reminds him that he could bring the cure back for Xanthia as well. Next, Ethan and Jude go to a bar where people breathe a special kind of oxygen to get high. Jude asks Ethan to consider Regina's offer, but Ethan isn't comfortable abandoning Xanthia. Jude insists that Ethan's dad believed in all this, but Ethan doesn't remember his dad in good terms. He remembers that Richard was never home and wasn't around when his mother was murdered in the street. Eventually, Richard just left a suicide note for Ethan to find. Hence, he doesn't care what Richard believed. He is not going to abandon his wife like Richard did to his mother. Jude reminds him that he will be going to save Xanthia. Ethan has a flashback of his 8th birthday, where his dad gave him a special wrist device with a red light on it that latched on and hurt him. Young Ethan gets scared because the device doesn't come off, but Richard tells him that one day he will understand its purpose. One day, he will be someone important. In the present, Ethan discusses the situation with Xanthia, and she encourages him to go, because this is bigger than them. This is a chance to save everyone. Next, Ethan has a flashback of the day that his mother was shot in the street. It is revealed that young Ethan was rescued by a young Jude, who raised him like his own little brother from that point on. Finally, Ethan decides that he is going to take Regina's offer, and before leaving, he crafts a flower for Xanthia and writes the words, "I will find my way back to you" on it. Xanthia cries, but doesn't let Ethan see. Ethan tells Regina that he will make the journey on one condition, and that is that Xanthia gets the first dose of the cure if he finds it. Regina agrees. The day of the mission arrives, and Regina explains that the chronicle on this end is not connected to the chronicle in 2474. This means Ethan will not arrive at the machine in the future. He will be thrown at some random place. Ethan is given an AI device called Archie. Archie will help him navigate in the future and also send his vitals back to the present so that they know he's okay. Ethan wears a protective suit, steps in, and the chronicle is switched on. Ethan travels through time and arrives at the Earth in 2474. He falls from a height and gets knocked unconscious. When he awakens, he finds that his suit is burning and hurriedly takes it off. It takes Ethan a minute to adjust to natural oxygen, as he is used to breathing the synthetic kind. He gets up and admires all the plant life that has been revived in the future. Next, Ethan asks Archie to tell him where to go, and Archie says that it has detected a structure nearby. Following Archie's directions, Ethan arrives at a large gate, and he finds a human skeleton lying outside the gate. The skull has a tiny hole in it, suggesting that this person was shot in the head. The skeleton is wearing a jacket, and Ethan is shocked to see that it is the same jacket that he is wearing right now, with his name on it. Ethan starts panicking, thinking that this is his future in this place. He rummages around the skeleton and finds another Archie. He looks at the skeleton's wrist, and his dad's device is on it. But this one is old and rusted, and the light has turned from red to green. Ethan asks the older Archie to play its last recording, and he hears someone talking to him, fighting with him, and then shooting him. Next, Archie detects an emergency beacon, and Ethan decides to go investigate it. On the way, he finds old and rusted OTM machines. At night, Ethan starts a fire and eats some berries he finds for sustenance. A violent storm ensues, and Ethan starts throwing up amidst it. He sees something fall from the sky, and then he sees a man coming toward him through the jungle. He tries to run, but he falls, and the man injects him with something. Ethan wakes up to find that the man is Jude, and he injected Ethan with an antitoxin because Ethan was poisoned by the berries he ate. The next morning, Jude reveals that they saw his blood toxicity levels spiking in his vitals back in 2067, and Regina decided to send Jude here to save him. Ethan shows Jude the skeleton he saw with his name on it, and Jude can't make any sense of it. The two decide to go and investigate the emergency beacon Archie detected earlier. The two arrive at another door, which opens after scanning Ethan's eye. They enter, and inside they find a computer with a welcome message to Ethan. Ethan activates the computer, and at the same time, blood starts coming out of his wrist device. It is revealed that the device is scanning for DNA, and after testing Ethan's DNA, it gives him access. The lights come on, and it is revealed that the two have arrived back at the Chronicle lab in 2474. Jude is happy that they now have a way back home, but Ethan is concerned that there are no people here, and also that the light on his wrist device has turned green, just like the device that was on the skeleton. He deduces that this means he is still heading toward that death. Ethan accesses the logs of the lab, and one of them shows his dad turning on the Chronicle for the first time to send a radio wave through. It is revealed that his dad was there the day that the lab received the message asking to send Ethan White. Regina tells his dad that they have to continue their mission and proceed with sending actual matter through the machine. But one of the scientists in the lab tells her that there is something wrong with the power source of the Chronicle in 2474. Just then, alarms start going off in 2474, and Ethan and Jude learn that the nuclear core powering the Chronicle is failing. Jude says they have to fix it, but Ethan doesn't understand why Regina didn't tell them that the power at this end was failing beforehand. Jude doesn't care. He's just concerned with fixing the power source. He tells Ethan that if they don't fix the power source, there will be a nuclear explosion in 4 hours. Ethan says that they have to find the people of this time first, because once they fix the power, the Chronicle will only open for 30 seconds to let them through. Convenient Ethan and Jude navigate toward the city, but when they arrive, they find that there is nothing but ruins left. All over the city, they only find bones. Ethan finds the school where Xanthia used to teach and discovers her remains as well, alongside the flower that he crafted for her. It has the words, "I wish you came back," written on it. Ethan has a major breakdown and Jude calms him down. Ethan doesn't understand. All this means that humanity didn't survive, and the Earth just flourished once again after mankind's extinction. However, somebody sent back that message in the radio wave from this time. Jude says that maybe it's better this way. No one is suffering anymore. Ethan suddenly realizes that those are the exact words someone said to him in the recording on the old Archie. He plays the recording, and Jude freaks out, realizing that it's his voice. Ethan freaks out when Jude pulls out a gun, and he realizes that Jude is the one who will shoot him in the head. Jude has a breakdown during which he tries to convince himself that he is in control of his destiny, and that he won't do this. He tells Ethan to just do as he says, and help him fix the nuclear power source. While fixing the power source, Ethan sacrifices himself to save Jude by staying in a depressurizing chamber to pull a circuit breaker that'll prevent the nuclear explosion. However, after he pulls the breaker, Jude breaks into the chamber and saves him. Next, Ethan opens one of the doors of the Chronicle lab and finds his skeleton lying outside. He realizes that they are still heading toward the same future. They are going to go home, and for some reason Jude is going to shoot him, and he will rot outside this lab for 400 years. The two argue about this, and Ethan locks Jude in a room. He plays the log from his 8th birthday, and it shows that his father was planning to come see him again when he left after giving him the wrist device. However, he got caught in an argument with Regina. Regina says to Richard that even if there is a cure in the future, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want to save humanity. She wants the Earth to live without humanity for a while and flourish, and then she wants to send a select group of people into the future where the Earth is restored, to restart humanity. Richard is outraged that she wants to leave the rest of the people in the present to die. She says that they will send someone in the future to fix the power source of the Chronicle from that end, and then they will send a select group of people to live in the future. When Richard argues against it, Regina shoots and kills him. She tells a young Jude to go and rescue Ethan and be his guardian, because Richard has encoded the Chronicle to his DNA through the wrist device. He is now the key to all this. The 2474. Ethan is shocked to see all this. He realizes that's why he and Jude were sent here, to fix the power source, not to bring back a cure for Xanthia. Jude escapes from the locked room, and Ethan accuses him of lying to Ethan the whole time. Jude tries to apologize and explain that he was young then, but Ethan doesn't listen. Ethan says that he is going to destroy the Chronicle and stop Regina's plan, but Jude says he won't let him do that. He says that he is doing all this to save Ethan, because Ethan is his family. However, they can't save everyone else. A fight ensues, and it results in Jude pointing a gun at Ethan's head. However, he has a flashback of Ethan as a boy, and he can't bring himself to do it. He shoots himself instead. Ethan gets up and sees that the Chronicle has received a radio wave. He realizes that he brought himself here. Classic time travel trope. He sends back the message, "Send Ethan White," to keep the time continuum flowing. On the other end, Regina prepares to send her chosen few people to the future, but when the portal opens, Ethan sends through crucial plants and vegetation to restart plant life in the past, and shuts down the Chronicle from his end. He also sends proof of Regina's crime, which gets her arrested. While Xanthia is watching all this on the news, she receives a package. It's a flower that Ethan sent for her from the future. Ethan buries Jude, and then finds that his skeleton is no longer outside the lab. He has managed to change the future. He rushes back toward the city, and instead of ruins, he finds a beautiful city that incorporates plant life into it. His plan worked. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.